Testing. Right, this is, what the fuck is this? This is rabbit holes, treasure, and intergenerational wealth. I've been trying to compose this for a little while. I'm doing this completely off the cuff, so you're going to have to bear with me. Right, so the other day, preparing for a thing, I was reading this, Learning with Colour, the Meaning and Magic of Art, and that is by some guy, devised and written for young readers by Fred Gettings. Now I got to a section in the book, and I'll read a part of it to you now. So it goes, men, caves and bulls. Back in the dawn of civilization, when man lived in caves, wearing nothing but skins and hunting for food like a wild animal, he was an artist. Because he wanted beautiful things around him, he carved wood, bones, rocks into lively and lovely shapes. He scratched designs on the walls of his cave and coloured them with dyes and clays. And in spite of his crude tools, he made pictures of an incredible vitality and beauty. His first subjects were animals, perhaps because of their importance to him as food. Many primitive people believe that a picture of a thing is as real as the thing itself, that if they possess a picture of an animal, then they have some strange power over that animal. This is the reason why many primitive tribes in Africa still refuse to have their photographs taken, for they think that if the photographer has a picture of them, they will become his slaves. An amusing but true story is told of an Indian of North America who saw an artist drawing bison at the time when they were becoming scarce in America. The Indian believed that the bison were scarce because the artist was drawing them. As he said to a friend, "I know this man has put many of our bison into his book. I was there when he did it, and since then we have had no bison." Perhaps this is why prehistoric men painted animals on their cave walls, in the belief that if they owned their image, they owned the animals themselves. In a sense, why they painted the animals isn't very important to our study of art. What is important, though, is that they did paint them. That conjures interesting thoughts for me. I'm going to shut that kitchen door. And I don't think I'll even edit that out. Right, so I've read you the bit. This guy's postulating that cave people devised art. I dig it, I totally do, and Artifact would attest to it. Not only that, but every time I have slayed a woolly mammoth or fought a dragon, I felt compelled to do a little doodle about it and decorate my cave walls. So I do get it, I do. So art was probably the original form of currency, aside from meat, spears, you know, things like that. And so once I've completed a feat, and then I've done an illustration for my cave wall, if I am impressed by a fellow tribe member, I'm happy to bestow this that took nothing but my craft and my time to manufacture as a gift to a human being that has impressed me. So if we were to translate that into tribal anecdote, hunters deliver food during a time of otherwise famine. Warriors defend the homesteads against an invading or prevailing tribe. And so gifts would be bestowed, and medals of honor, maybe a choice of bride. It's a curious thing. And you can, personally, I can see how the treasures of the earth belong to those that have the gumption to wrest it from the guts of the earth. In the same way that my cave paintings belong to me because I was the one that did them. All right? And I can see how we've gone from little carved idols to specifically interesting shiny rocks to polished rocks to faceted rocks to medallions and coinage. Oh no, to beads. Apologies, yeah, to beads. And then to coinage. And the history of it, like I say, rabbit holes, man, I've been down one recently. So, economics. This all started out 2,000 years ago when some guy reckoned that a silver denarius was worth, I think, a day's wage. And a gold Arius was worth 25 denarius, setting a gold standard 25 to 1, 2,000 years ago. And it remained that way for about 1,000 years. And over the years, if you look into it, and please do, because I'm not going to explain it all here, but yeah, over the years, we've taken, there's a lot of talk about this in other aspects now. I'm tackling it from a slightly different point of view. How we went from pure silver coinage to 50% silver coinage to the petrodollar, the promissory notes that we have today. And how that in itself evolved into baseball cards, Pokemon cards, Star Wars figures, plastic. The accumulation of treasures. Now I've got an issue with this. So like I'm gonna, when I shed my mortal coil, I'm gonna leave a body of work that has been relevant throughout various. I've always tried to remain topical. So a lot of this stuff is pertinent to the times in which I lived, which makes it an artifact that is testament to the times through which I lived. Which, through the notion of scarcity and rarity, presumably will render a value to it should there be someone to find interest in it. And I think the sort of person, I mean, it's all diverse enough that someone out there is going to go, oh, what's this and where does this lead? And then, they'll stumble across the full scale of the works, and hopefully that will be an inspiration. That's kind of the point. Now, what I am going to do, because like intergenerational wealth, I think is a problem in the UK. Like if you've got that little faith in your genetic spillage that you need to amass a hoard of treasure so that your genetic spillage can have some kind of financial advantage against the society in which it is, well, I'd say part of, but since it's got an advantage, it's now pitted against. And you just end up with another line of kings, you know what I mean? Another intergenerationally, prudently invested bunch of Boris Johnsons. It does not make for good people. So when I shed my mortal coil, there will be a cachet of works. This map that I've been working on for the last 3 years, there will be a cachet of works, artworks and interesting stones and various other artifacts will be left in remote mountainous regions. And the same is true of, like, I doubt I will leave this game with any sense of real amassed wealth. I've got no interest in it, really. And like I say, it doesn't make for good people. So any artifacts like this that I accrue over the course of a lifetime, I'm going to get a boat and I'm going to scatter it across the bottom of the English Channel. And it will be for the would-be heirs and inheritors, right, to get themselves into a little adventure. They're absolutely entitled to it, but they got to go and get it. They don't just get it handed over in a trust fund, in, you know, a prudent investment portfolio. They don't hoard it all up in mountains, in vaults in mountains, so that they can deem one bloodline superior to another. No, you take your ill-gotten gains and you make an adventure of it. Can you imagine, right, what the world, how much more fun the world would be if all of the world's treasures at the point of departure are dispersed in a Pokemon Go fashion across the countryside? You've got as much chance as anybody else of stumbling across, you know, the treasure of Charlemagne as you have stumbling across the treasure of Valerio. And the landscape would be a thing worthy of preserving, because the adventure inherent in seeking these treasures through the use of artifacts and innovation and ingenuity and deductive reasoning. I mean, I look at people now and they're scrolling on their phone while they're on an escalator. They are so bored with their human experience that while they are traveling on an escalator, they need to be distracted by a digital device. I don't think we have made exceptional progress of the potential or of the overall human potential here. So that's sort of a rough rundown, really, like how we ended up with treasure. I did another one about money. That wasn't very popular. I wonder why that was. But yeah, think about it. When you're looking at your shiny stones, or your silver coins, your ivory idols, your plastic C3POs, or your fucking Bitcoin portfolio, and just have a little comparative consider of where we're at and how many thousands of years it took to get us here. Because there's an awful lot of you, man. There's an awful lot of you that it's an awful thing to say, but there's an awful lot of you that would be deservedly doomed, right? And if I'm saying that, imagine what the really rich people think of you. It's just food for thought, of course. Big hugs, loads of love. Check out the mad little. I went through a local magazine yesterday. It was loads of fun, actually. It felt like I was going through like a Facebook feed, and my reactions were spontaneous and in time. So yeah, have a look at me looking through this little local rag, and yeah, that's why I don't go on Facebook anymore. Awesome. Yeah, big hugs, loads of love. Think about something worthwhile.